Welcome back. This week we are installing the Froli bed spring system, specifically designed for life on the road. We've chosen this because it provides that natural air gap to limit condensation and mould. It also enhances our sleep with adjustable lumbar support, yes, for his and hers. It's also lighter than a mattress and super easy to install. Quick reminder that we are not sponsored by any company.
It's hard to tell without your mattress on here, but yeah, my mid-back's in the soft bit, my head's in the hard bit. I think with our foam mattress on top of this, it's gonna be very nice.
So this choice of product and install is 100% our decision that has come down to the hours and hours of research we put into building this truck. Without further ado.
So today our bed system, well at least our springs for our bed have arrived. It's from Berger, but it's made by Froli, which seem to be the best for very lightweight springs. Obviously the alternative to this is a mattress with springs in it, which are big and quite heavy, and we want to go as light as possible. So these are super light and should give us the spring that we want with a 150 mil or 100 mil foam mattress on top. So that's one fully assembled, but I've got boxes and boxes of the parts, and the orange ones are for the softer sections, mid-back, where you want a bit less support, you want to sink in a little bit more. And then grey ones are for the harder sections of the bed. They're super simple to put together. Lay these out, then you put that on, click it into place, and then the final step is attaching one of these little red joints that connects it all together, and that just clicks on there and then holds it all nice and tight and gives you a bit more firmness. So the first step is connecting all these together using these little bits here and laying it out on top of our plywood. And then once we're happy with the spacing and layout, we go ahead and attach all of these, and then the top of our bed is ready for our mattress when we order, buy, scope that out. We have our lattice work of bottom pieces for our springs, and these connect in. There's helpful little arrows on here, but they connect in by slotting into this section, pressing that down. Now, they don't break down the optimal comfort zone for connecting these. Now I'm going to go and connect all our rows to each row, and then we can get to doing the spring and the connecting little red piece on top. And I will break down the costs and the weight of each one of these so that you can work out if this option is right for you. Obviously everything comes down to cost, weight, and function. And I'm hoping function is pretty good because this bed system is specifically designed for traveling as well as boats. So anything designed for boats is generally pretty good because people spend a lot of money on them. And the last thing they want on a luxury boat with lots of money spent on it is a crappy bed. So I'm hoping that I don't have to worry about the comfort element, and it just comes down to price and weight. And where we can save a bit of weight in this truck, although we have a huge GVM of something like 17 ton, and I weighed it the other day and we're only at 11. Anywhere you're building an off-road truck, especially on a lifting bed that's run on the actuators where we can save weight, we're going to try and do it. So you'll see in the middle, 1, 2, 3, and then the same on the other side. I've brought them closer because I figure that's where one person's going to lie, and the other person's going to lie here. Don't need them as close in the edges, so they're still spaced at the furthest away. But for the center of the bed, where I think we'll end up spending most of our time, or especially about there and about there on such a big bed, I've brought them together. And it's sitting pretty well. You can see on the sides here, and then over here, it does kind of sit like a couple of mil proud, but I think when we have the side pieces on and that kind of pushes together, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Don't get me wrong, a bed with bed springs, way quicker. There's a lot of clicking, there's a lot of finessing to get everything right, but I mean, the whole thing is pretty bloody light. That's just PVC. There's not much weight in it at all. I love how the black kind of emphasizes all the other colors. I mean, you're never going to see this because it's going to be under a mattress, but aesthetically, I think it's really, really cool. As you can see, I have all my springs in, and following the diagram, I've used my soft ones just where your upper shoulders will be. Now I've got to go in and put these little red tensioners in, as you can see on the diagram just here, which are for lumbar support. Long drives, hard roads, hiking, you want lumbar support. I feel like this is going to be a really good system. So far, I like the customization. It does seem like it's actually kind of orthopedic in its design and made to make it really, really comfortable. That's me lying on our bed, which is also raised slightly, so we know our brackets can hold me. It's hard to tell without your mattress on here, but yeah, my mid-back's in the soft bit, my head's in the hard bit. The Froli Berger bed system for off-road use. The reason we went for this above and beyond just putting a normal mattress on, which, you know, arguably would be cheaper and easier to do, is because this gives us that natural air gap between our mattress and the bottom ply as well, so that moisture or anything like that can evaporate. I think with our foam mattress on top of this, it's going to be very nice. So bed, Froli, springs in, moving on. Ooh, don't want that laser in my eyes. I've got to put my facing piece on here, which needs to sit just proud of my acoustic panels, need to then be bolted through into my aluminium. So the laser level is telling me where the center line of that top extrusion is, and then it needs to sit about 4 centimeters above our bed springs. And what I've done is I've unscrewed a couple of the screws that are attaching my acoustic panels in, and then I put these little L brackets that I'm then going to use to hold my piece of wood at the right height, so that I can then hopefully drill and screw through into my aluminium. So my piece of wood's there, and I've done a little corner right angle bracket to make sure that I have left enough space for my 12mm ply on the edge, which will run up the side of my bed. And then I've chopped and sanded this at 19.5 centimeters. And then I'll bring this down into here. My laser level line there, which should hopefully still be pretty spot on for the extrusion. That's holding it in place, so I can remove that later. We should be good to hopefully drill through, checking that there's no cables behind, because we do have our LEDs running in the bottom extrusion, and then we can get this piece on. But I just thought I'd take you through that, because you think, okay, you're just putting on the front piece. How hard can that be? And the amount of problem solving that goes into, okay, well, I need to line up my extrusion to bolt through, because that'll give me the best connection. But first you need to work out how you're going to do it. Okay, I need some sort of brackets to hold it because I'm on my own. Then I need some sort of level or indicator of where I'm going to have to drill and hopefully hit that center extrusion. On the edges, you're like, okay, I want my wood on my front piece to go slightly further, and then the side pieces I'm going to put on will sit in flush against that at a nice right angle. And that's just to put this front piece on the bed. That's just to put this lip on the bed here. So yeah, so much thought goes into getting these things right, and literally just getting it in the right place sometimes. You will have noticed that I have now taken off the 2 sheets that are this wall, so I can get to here and screw it all into the aluminium. I also need access to this area for when I'm doing my sliding door and getting all the aluminium down, so I knew I had to take it off anyway. Still got to work out how I'm going to do the other end, because we are running out of space. because I obviously didn't have the space necessarily to get in here without a lot of work. Done an L bracket into my aluminium with one of my black bolts going through to the extrusion, and then I fed a screw through one side to the other and then put a nylock nut on there. Ideally, I would come under here and I would get something in about here as well, but not quite sure how we go about that at the moment. I've come under the bed and I actually think I have a good way of getting the bottom piece in. And I'm going to take a couple of these out and then I'm going to get in there and I'm going to drill through that hole there. We got it. Took a very long time, but you can see it's there. And that's probably as tight as I'm going to get it, but it holds it in really well. And then I've also left on the one I did there. So this corner has double the strength, but here you go. Front piece in, nice and secure. Plenty of space for our springs and then a bit of mattress, but I need to build 3 more sides for this bed, and arguably they might all be slightly more difficult than this one. Potentially, I should have built my sidewalls first when I was doing my aluminium frame. Then I could have put it all together, at least drilled all my holes for this. Now, if I'd known what springs I was going to get, and if I'd done this in the right order, then maybe I could have known how high this needed to be and not left it to the end. We'll make it work. It's just a bit of an oversight on my behalf, and it's going to create a lot more work for me. So anyway, we press on. Rather than taking off the bottom slats in order to get to the aluminium to drill through to attach our backboard, I'm actually going to lower the bed. I'm going to get on top of it, move my springs across, take off the top piece of heavy ply that we have as our bed topper, and that'll give me access to the aluminium. Drill my holes through my wood, get everything nice, because that gives me hopefully access to my aluminium and my extrusion so I can drill through. I'm just hoping I have enough space on the other side to get a thread, a torque wrench, something in so that I can tighten it back through the frame. That was incredibly painful because of the limited space that I've left myself by building my cabinetry in. Maybe it was an oversight. Maybe you start from the back, get the bed in, get everything in, and work your way forward. I was still waiting on designs, I was waiting on delays on actuators, I was waiting on all sorts of stuff, so I progressed other things. And that's the thing, you make mistakes. And if I was to do this again, I'd have a detailed plan, learning all my lessons of how I should build this, because I know what I need to take apart and how I'm going to build things. Without putting the mattress on, our bed is done. I heard a really good saying the other day, which is to do something amazing, start a crazy project and get so deep that you have no choice but to finish it. And that has definitely been this truck build, but also this bed. This bed has been the most ambitious thing I have ever taken on, physically to build, definitely. But we have our bed in, on our lifting arms, it goes up and down. So I'm calling this a success. And I think we can put to bed for now, the bed. We can put the bed to bed and I can move on to something else. So, tick.
There's something about getting the bed in that is making the truck feel way more finished. But next week we're moving on to the kitchen, building the overhead cabinets and trying out one of Dunk's clever ideas to maximize the storage underneath the cupboards. Stuff like this is exactly why we wanted to fully customize the truck in the first place. Honestly, doing a self-build completely takes over your whole life, but knowing it's all going towards creating a space that actually works for how we want to live makes it worthwhile. We'll see you in the next one.